Hello and welcome to VLearn Virtual Learning Network. This is session 17 of Human Resource Management Industrial Relations. Topics to be covered: concept of industrial relations, features of industrial relation, scope of industrial relations, contemporary issue in industrial relations, industrial disputes, objectives of Indian Industrial Dispute Act, weapon used by labor during the times of industrial dispute, weapon used by management, cause of industrial dispute, measures to improve the industrial relations. So in this session, we were basically going to have an understanding or introductions about the industrial relations. What exactly the industrial relations? Why industrial relations plays a very important role in the organization, or we can say that in overall system of the industry. And yes, at the same time, what exactly the disputes are, how disputes occur, and an organization, how can an organization manage these disputes. So these are the few tasks, or these are the few topics in which we were going to have a discussion on and having a glance on that. So the very first is a concept of industrial relation. If we talk about the industrial relation, it's all about having a good relations, or having a good interactions between management and worker. This is what the industrial relations. Because if we talk about the industry have a two parties in it. One is the management, another is laborers. They both are on the two different sides, or we can say that the two different sides of table. So in that case, yes, they required a proper coordination and a proper relationship to have a smooth working of industries. So the concept is used to denote the collective relationship between the management and the workers. This is also called as a labor relation. The term of industrial relation comprises of the two terms, that is industry and relations. That's very true, because this one term consists of two things. That is what industry. One is the industry, another is relation. If we talk about industry, so industry is the area where the productivity activity in which an individual performs. So it's an area where an individual, where a group is performed to have a good productivity. And yes, at the same time, industrial relations, it refers to the relationship that exists in the industry between the employers. So they are basically the relationship who are exist in it and having a good relationship or existing relationships. So that is industrial relationship. So relationship, we can define the way in which two or more people or a group feel about and have behave towards each other. Yes, this is what basically the meaning of relation. Relation is all about that person having a two or more person having a good and collaborative feelings, and they have a behavior towards each other. They know the responsibilities towards each other, and the way in which two or more people are thinking, they are connected, they are actually affecting each other. So that's all comes into the relationships. Industrial relations contain the relationship between employer and employer as well also. So this is not only the management and labor relationship, this is also an employer relationship also. So this also include the third party also, that is all the stakeholders who can influence management. That's all comes into this, who have that much of effect, who have a worker management relationship. So that's all comes into the relations part of the governing bodies. Now the full-fledged definition of industrial relationship, Dell basically defines it as a whole field of relations that exist because of the necessary collaborations of men and women in the employment process of an industry. So when in an industry there was a good collaboration of men and women, this is basically the industrial relations. So industrial relation is basically an organization and practices of the multi-prolonged relationship. So this is what the ongoing relationship. It is the one of the relationship which is effective. And who are the parties who involve in the relationship? The labor, management, union, labor, union and management also. Now, what are the features of industrial relationship? What are the main functions of, we can say that the essentials of industrial relationship? If we talk about the features of relationship, the very first is secure the mutual relations between management and labor. So they have a mutual concerns, they have a mutual practices with each other. So that is the very first feature of industrial relationship, to secure the mutual relationships. At the same time, avoid the disputes between management and labor. They actually there to manage all or avoid all the differences, and yes, at the same time create a harmonious practices. That's very true. When the organization try to avoid all the disputes, automatically they create harmonies. Ensure employment and reduce absenteeisms also. Yes, it is what basically leading, if a good relationship or a good interactions was there in the organization, so automatically they minimum absenteeisms, and yes, having a more employment. Emphasize the labor's employer partnership to establish and maintain the industrial democracy by ensuring ensure the sharing of a profit gains and personal development of all the employees. So this is always related to emphasize on the labor's employer partnership. They are all mainly working on to the participation or emphasizing on the each other's relation. Democracy must be there. Profit sharing must be there. Personal development must be there. Yes, at the same time, they provide a better wage and living conditions to the labor. They provide the better understandings about the labor. So, just because this better living, better wages, better living condition was minimizing the misunderstandings, and yes, helping to have a proper working and a proper understanding between both the parties. Another feature is to bring about the governmental control over the plant where the losses are running high. So, in that case, yes, they always there, if there was a loss occurs in the organization, the government control must be there. So they also bring this. Then other is to bridge a gap between the various public functions. There are many functions which are performed. There are many activities which are performed in the organization, to bringing out that balance, to bringing out that coordination that was always related to the features of industrial relations. Now, what is the scope of industrial relations? The very first scope, if we talk about the scope, it's all about the aspects of relation in industry. What are the aspects which are basically associated with it? So, in that case, the very first aspect is settlement of industrial dispute through mutual understanding and agreement. So, they all are working for the settlements to handle this industrial dispute. Another is by evolving the various statutory measures, that is what bringing out all the statutory practices. Information of various mechanisms such as worker committee, board of conciliation, labor court. So that is what the formation of various mechanisms was there. Worker participation in the management, and there is a worker participation and recognizing the human rights. Another are contemporary issues in the industrial relationship. This is basically focusing on what are the main issues, or we can say that the additional issues in industrial relationship which are required to be in the organization, and bringing out the better practices in the organization. So if we talk about in contemporary issue in industrial relationship, a large and diverse group of contributors provide a new thematic treatments of a key employment relation issues. So they are mainly on the key employment relations. So they contemporary issues include the issues like collective bargaining. They contribute the issue like work disabilities. They contribute in the return to the work, alternative dispute resolution, managerial misclassifications, violations of overtime law, new development in performance and based pay, and retirement from work, and managing one and own money. So that's all comes into the contemporary issues that all are important in the issues of an industrial relationships. This is the overall working of industrial relationship. This diagram is basically stating that how industrial relationships perform. So if we talk about, yes, the industrial structure and worker was there. So they're always having their own ideologies, values, objective, rules, conventions, culture, authorities, power and motivation. These all are the inputs which an individual must have or a group must have. So that is why industrial relationship is related to the persons. So they have these things with them, and having that, they will affect the employers federation. That means for the employer welfare, for the employers proper working, there was the employer federation. These federations have its own market effects and have their own terminologies, which terminology straightaway affects the economy of that particular country. And yes, at the same time, the governmental economy was there and power structure was there, because through economy the person can have their own importance in the government, that how much that particular organization was contributing in the economy. And yes, at the same time, the position in the authorities or the rights of a government in that particular, on the particular organization, the government must have. So this is economy impact. Then other is legal communities was there. Yes, the legal factors are automatically entered into a picture. So when there was legal benefits, legal rules and regulations was there, so automatically affect the union federation. That means unions are there, union involvement was there, union laws are there, which have to be followed by the organization if they have approved union. So that union federation have its own ideologies, values, objective, rules, convention and cultures, authorities, power, motivation, personality. So they have their own practices and they have their own points to be considered. Again, at the same time, this ideologies affects this ideologies, or bringing out the we can say that balancing must be there, because there were the chances of clashes was there, conflict was there. So in that case, this balancing was required. So this is what industrial relations structure and workers. So just to manage this part, yes, they have a n numbers of functioning on the industrial relationship, collective bargaining, these kind of an activity was performed. So that is what contemporary issues in industrial relations. Now the industrial dispute. Industrial dispute are basically the conflict, disorders or unrest arising between the workers and employers on any ground. That means that if there is any kind of conflict, any kind of difficulties or any kind of a situation where the problems are not handled in a very proper manner, or there was any kind of a disorder, so that is leads towards the industrial dispute. Or we can say that it's any kind of conflict arises between the employer and employees which lead to the further critical situations in the industry. So such disputes finally result in strikes, lockout, mass refusal of the employees also. Yes, in that case, to resolve that dispute, to have their verdicts or to work on the that working, so in that it's lead to the strikes, lockout and masses refusals. If we talk about Industrial Dispute Act, yes, Industrial Dispute Act is basically started from implemented in 1947. In Industrial Dispute Act, they were basically discussed about or defined the industrial dispute as any dispute or difference between the employees and employers, or between the workers and workmen, or between the workmen and workmen. So that is what related to the industrial dispute. Industrial dispute is always on the any kind of conflict between these parties, employees and employer, between employees and workmen, or between workmen and workmen. It is basically concerned with the employment or the terms of employment with the conditions of labor of any person. Principles are basically assigned by the court for judging the nature of dispute also. Yes, there are certain principles which are assigned and discussed. So the very first principle is the term industrial dispute has an interpreted difficulties in different situation by a court. So yes, they have a different situations. They have a different areas to be performed. They have a different task to be interpreted. So which should be defined in a very proper manner and defined by court. So the court has to assign some principles in that. The first is the dispute must affect large number of the workmen. Dispute is considered dispute when they affect the large number of workers, when the involvement of worker are many. The dispute should not take up by the industry union. Yes, this dispute is not only arises by the union. This dispute can also be arises by the workmen, or the major part of a workman support must be there. Another is the party involved in the dispute must have a direct interest. Yes, they must be directly linked with that particular dispute, with that particular issue. The consolidated demand must become grievance. Yes, at the same time, there must be in a certain kind of unrest situation. There must be in a situations of grievances. That grievances would lead the disputes. So grievances must be there. Then workman can raise the industrial dispute himself under the section 2A of Industrial Dispute Act 1947 also. Another is objective of industrial, or we can say that the objective of Indian Industrial Dispute Act. very first objective of this Industrial Dispute Act is what? To encourage the good relationship between labor and industry. That's very foremost step, is to bringing out the healthiest relationship between that two parties, and provide a medium of settling the disputes also. Then another objective is to provide a committee for dispute settlement between industry and labor, with the right of representation by the registrar, trade union, or by the association of the employers. So this is what, to bringing out the correct practices, bringing out the proper settlements of the industries and labor. At the same time, prevent the unauthorized strikes and lockouts. This is the another objective. The another objective is to reach out the labor also, that is to dismiss or unrightful labors also. And yes, at the same time, bringing out the collective bargaining concept also, if there was any kind of dispute, so settle this dispute with the help of the collective bargainings. Now, what are the weapons which can be used by a labor? So the very first, or we can, if we talk about the weapons, strikes, picketing, boycotts, corporate campaigns, these all are the weapons which labor have. So what is strike? Strike is basically a most often called when a contract has expressed but a new one has not been rectified. So this is strike. That is, if any kind of temporary withdrawal of something or temporary withdrawal of from the service is there, and the employees was come up into the strike, so that comes into the strike part. Another is picketing. Picketing is basically the formation of line by unauthorized employees who walk around a plant or office building, carry the informational signs, in terms of after having a wrong signs or having the practices of the management, when unionized employee was basically taken a step to rectify certain things. So this is what picketing. Boycott is what, when it's affected by union itself, when the public to refuse to deal with the particular firm. It is what completely boycott. That is all, everybody was involved in this boycott scenario, that the suppliers as we can say that the workers union or everybody was boycott with that particular organization and refused to perform with that organization. Another is corporate campaign. It's an effort to organize a union at a firm that is restraining the unionization. The effort include the picketing, boycott, and appealing to the outside directors on the firm's board of directors. So that is what the corporate campaign. It is the related to the efforts to be organized in particular union. Then another is weapon used by management. So yes, there are many weapons which are used by management also. The very first is lockout, and another is the injunction. Then another is the strike breakers, then contracting outwork, and the employers association. So these are the 5 tools which management can use. So very first is the lockout. Lockout is basically the denial to the employees of access to the firm premises when there was the shutdown of a work, or we can say that when the employees are basically there to accept the employer's term and conditions, so they are denial to working on. So that comes into the lockout part. When the employer shut down the particular area, then injunction is basically the court order directing someone to do something which is related to the something. That is whatever the issue is, to resolve that issue, to resolve that practice, when court bring out somebody to resolve it, so that's come into the injunction. Then another is the stick breakers. That is what non-union employees hired, they place these striking employees. That is what, when the another third employer was introduced in the area and they come up with the certain things. Then more and more firms are contracting out work. This is in the another challenge for the union also, and yes, at the same time workers, when worker denied to perform, so in that case the management hire the another workers or having a contracting out work. So that comes into the another tool which management have. The last weapon is the employers association. This is the association which basically help the company to affect the employers in a very positive way, try to manipulate their mindset and to try to bring them into the proper functioning of the organization. So that comes into the employer associations. Then what are the causes of industrial disputes? If we talk about the causes of industrial dispute, the very first is organization can effectively avoid an industrial dispute. Yes, just to manage the things, minimizing the tensions, minimizing the wrong practices, they lead to minimize the industrial dispute. But yes, what are the causes? Causes are related to two things. It could be economic causes, it could be non-economic. Economic cause is always there to the non-fulfillment of their economic needs. That means whatever economic need or the needs related to the money they have, that is not properly fulfilled. So that is the first. Another is non-economy. Non-economy is always related to working condition, organization, violence, indiscipline, this kind of practices. So, what are the factors which are included in economic causes? Economic causes include, or we can say that they include the issue related to compensation, incentives, wages, salaries. So, they include wages, bonus, allowances, condition of work, working hour, leave, holiday without pay, unjust layoff, retrenchment. This is all comes into the economic. And non-economy is always related to if organization make victimization of workers, if they have ill treatment by staff members, if they have sympathetic strikes, if they have political factors or indiscipline. So these are non-economical factors which are included. So measurements to improve the industrial relationship, how we can improve the industrial relationship. The very first measure is to permanent conciliation committee for the settlement of industrial dispute. Yes, there must be a permanent conciliation who work in to settle the industrial dispute in a very quick and proper manner. Another is compulsory arbitration in public utility service and enforcement of arbitrations awards. And another is strikes during the proceedings of conciliation and arbitrations meeting are prohibited. So they always lead to have, if they want to strike, to minimize them with the help of conciliation or with the help of arbitrations, or try to prohibit them. At the same time, set aside the specific time for conciliation and arbitrations meeting also. What are the new Indian Industrial Dispute Act principles? In this another is employer have to be obliged to the communicative with the labor union. That is one of the effective way. Communicate the everything to the workers, discuss everything with the workers. That will lead to the better communication and better coordination from both the parties. Another is mutual conciliation has to be set up between the industry and labor also. Dispute between the labor and industry have to be forwarded to the industrial tribunals also. Yes, if there was a huge issue which are not resolved in the different courts, so it's necessary to then transfer this dispute to the industrial tribunals also. Now, authorities, or we can say that who are the authorities through which all the industrial disputes are basically worked, or we can consider it as a hierarchy also. If we talk about any dispute was first arises to the workers committee. After, if this is not resolved, then it's went to the conciliation officer. After that conciliation officer, it's hold to the board of conciliation. Then other is it's welcoming the courts of inquiries. After that court of inquiry, there would be a labor court. Then after the labor court, there was industrial tribunals, and then finally the national tribunals. So that they are what comes into the industrial hierarchies, or we can say that the authorities under the Indian industrial disputes. So there are few questions which you have to do it by yourself. The very first is what is industrial relationship, explain its scope and significance. So you have to define this. Another is how we can improve the industrial relations and what are the causes of that. So this is all about the today's session. We're winding up here. Thank you so much. Happy learning. We learn.